After Storm Claudia, across the UK, we're expecting our first taste of winter as our wind direction switches from that mild southwesterly up to a northerly, or across the UK, which is a very cold direction. We've already got that cold air across Scotland. If you're in Scotland, you will already be feeling that first taste of winter, but that cold air is going to become far more widespread as we head through the weekend and the latter part of the weekend into next week. Monday into Tuesday is when we'll start to see that really cold air building across the UK. You can see this northerly wind. It's an Arctic maritime air mass going to bring very cold air, also some quite clear air. So there's probably going to be some quite crisp and nice weather, if you like crisp autumnal weather across the UK. But we're going to see an increase in frosts, a risk of ice, and for some of us, some snow. I don't want to get too many people's hopes up if you are looking forward to snow this winter, as it's not expected to be widespread, but there will probably be some snow through next week. So we've got this Arctic maritime northerly wind direction across the UK throughout next week. We could see a little bit of a front, a trough in our isobars, perhaps a small low pressure system bring a pepping up of that snowfall across parts of Scotland on Tuesday into Wednesday, and then potentially some more widespread, oh not widespread, some snow a little bit further south. But we're only looking at a centimetre or two, and as the sea is still fairly warm at this time of year and the land is still fairly warm, we've not had that cold winter bringing down the temperatures of the sea and the land, not much is expected to settle or last all that long. And as we head towards the end of next week, it will probably get a little bit milder. So how cold is it going to get across the UK? Well, as you will have noticed, it's been exceptionally mild for a fair old time, a week or so across the UK. It's been pretty mild by day, but also by night. And you can see that the temperatures 10, 11 degrees, 15 degrees. We've had temperatures in the high teens through a lot of this week across the far southeast and last week. And then as the week goes on, next week, that's when we start to see the temperatures starting to drop. So these are the daytime maximum temperatures, which are actually lower than the minimum temperatures we've had lately across the UK. 4 or 5 degrees by Wednesday, and we're going to have that brisk northerly wind as well. It's particularly the far northeastern areas where we'll be exposed to the North Sea breeze through Wednesday and Tuesday, that we'll see that very cold weather, and it will probably last into Thursday as well. So those are the maximum temperatures. For those that are wondering about frost, well, for frost to form, we need the temperature to be below zero, and there's certainly a chance of seeing temperatures below zero across the UK. This chart shows you the percentage chance of the temperature being above zero. So if you've got a high chart, a yellow colour here, that shows it's going to be fairly warm. But as the colours tend towards more of a green or purple, that's a greater chance of the temperature falling below zero, which would allow for a frost. Now, it's not really going to happen much by day. It's the nighttime temperatures that we will likely see dipping below zero. So Monday night and Tuesday night, we'll start to see it more widely dipping below zero, and this is Wednesday night, where it looks like it could be a very widespread cold night. A really great chance, particularly inland. Notice the coasts are still that yellow colour. That's because the sea is still fairly warm, and you're going to see the wind coming off the sea. So that means that if you're in coastal areas, as is pretty common, you're less likely to see a frost. But it's inland areas, particularly any sheltered valleys, that's where you're going to see increased risk of frost. And as I said, it will come with some quite nice crisp weather. So I think if you're looking for photo opportunities of frosty weather, then definitely next week is going to be your best chance for that. How long is this cold going to last? There's a little less certainty, as there always is with the forecast as you go further ahead, of how cold it will be for how long. But if we head to next weekend, so the weekend of the 22nd, 23rd of November. Now, the chance of it being below zero is definitely fallen, so it looks a little bit milder across the UK, but what are the actual temperatures showing? So we can see this is the ensemble data we're looking at here. So it's lots of model runs, 50 or so model runs. Now, the coldest couple of runs, so that's the 5th percentile of these, show that still by next weekend there's a chance it could still be pretty cold overnight as well as probably by day. -1 showing up in a few spots, particularly across northern areas. But the top couple, the warmest couple of runs, so the 95th percentile, very different story, 11 or 10 degrees. So there's a big contrast in the temperatures by the time we get to next week. And we can see that in the spread of that in a graph form. So this is all the ensemble runs. So that's one model run multiple times, and we look at the different outputs from all of those model runs. And you can see that as time goes on, so it's next weekend really where the confidence starts to decrease, the spread in the model runs increases, and some stay colder, some go quite a bit warmer. So this is for, we have a look, that's for somewhere across near central England, not far from Birmingham there. As we look further north, it's a pretty similar trend. The temperatures are that much cold. You can see they've shifted down a little bit, but it's from Friday onwards we get that spread, but there is quite high confidence. You can see they're all very tightly packed, particularly that Monday to Tuesday, very dark mark appearing there, that it will remain cold Thursday to Friday, and then we start to see an increased likelihood of it becoming warmer again. So a fairly long cold period next week, but probably turning that much milder as we head towards the weekend. Now, last but not least, the chance of snow, which I'm sure a lot of you are waiting to hear. Now, as I alluded to earlier, there is a slim chance of snow across more southern areas. This chart shows us the percentage chance, the probability of 1 centimetre of snow falling. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So it's going to get colder as the week goes on. So initially we start to see that northerly wind bringing in a few showers across northern areas of Scotland. Snow flurries are expected. We could see some ice as well. It's wet ground around from the recent rain as well. We'll start to see a risk of ice too. But with daytime temperatures increasing above zero, it's not going to, the snow won't stick around for too long. But as we get into Tuesday, we could see more of a system, a small low pressure system or a weather front push through Scotland. So there's a greater chance of lower levels, more widely in Scotland, seeing a centimetre or two. It will probably be fairly slushy though, and it may only be restricted to higher ground. And then by Wednesday, we get more of a direct northerly wind, which continues to allow showers to form across parts of Scotland, but also down through the Irish Sea as well, because you need moisture for showers to form. So as that wind direction pushes in across the Irish Sea, across parts of Pembrokeshire and down across the southwest as well. We get something called the Pembrokeshire Dangler developing. We could see some sleety, snowy showers falling across southwestern England. But again, sea temperatures and land temperatures still too warm at this time of year for anything to settle for too long. And it will probably be through the early hours, overnight, that sort of time when you could see some snow falling. And this is just a chance. We've got a 24 to 40% chance of snow across more southern areas. Obviously a greater chance, closer to 100% by Wednesday across the far north of Scotland. So I think it's pretty likely we're going to see some snow next week, mainly over Scotland, potentially a little further south.